This is Jordan Baker, and he is one of the main characters of a TV show called All American that was about how his dad, Billy Baker, brought in star athlete Spencer James to not only live in his house but play for his football team. And you understand why when you see Spencer out here running some of the crispiest routes you've ever seen. I mean, look at that right there. Come on now. From there, Jordan and Spencer should have become one of the best quarterback to wide receiver duos in the country. But this show turned into nonsense. It became about a whole bunch of stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with football.
Hey, sweetheart, you wanna dump this loser? There's room on our table.
So today, we will be putting Jordan Baker into College Football 25. We're gonna see what happens if he takes football a little more seriously, and we're gonna follow him on his road to glory. You see, coming out of high school, Jordan was a 4-star quarterback, but he didn't know if he wanted to go to the NFL like his dad, Billy. He did know that he wanted to go wherever his dad and Spencer went to college, though. He had a ton of options to choose from as far as low-level schools where he could potentially start at quarterback. But when he found out that Spencer was actually going on a visit to UCLA, Jordan decided to join him. And it turns out that they both liked the school a lot and were already thinking about their futures with the team. They even got to meet Chip Kelly, who was out there at UCLA trying to get his head coaching job back. But Jordan knew that when it came to his college decision, he had to sign with UCLA. As soon as Jordan stepped on campus, he was doing great at practice, impressing a lot of the coaches, including his dad, who became the head coach. But Jordan would remain the third-string quarterback for now, and that would unfortunately continue throughout the majority of the season. Jordan just had to sit there on the bench and watch as Spencer James was out there leading the offense to touchdown drives. And Jordan was okay with that until one day he got a text from Spencer talking about how his girlfriend's a hoe, talking about how she was giving a Gluckety-Gluck 9000 to a lineman. God, that's crazy. See, Jordan has always been a lover boy, and he met this girl named Simone that he really liked a lot. So Jordan knew the next time he saw Spencer, he was going to have to say, "Wang!" for talking crazy about his girl like that. Unfortunately, things would start looking down for Jordan as he would not only get benched for the remainder of the season, but he would also find out that his dad, Billy Baker, would die right after getting the head coaching job in a tragic bus accident where he saved somebody's life to give his own. So Jordan and Spencer had decided to meet up and hash things out. They knew they had to do their best to finish the season for Billy. And even though Jordan wasn't playing in the games, he made sure to get Spencer ready every single week at practice. But by the end of the season, Jordan realized that he could do better, and he needed to get away from UCLA in order to establish a legacy of his own, a legacy that wasn't tied to Spencer James. So going into the offseason, Jordan had decided to enter the transfer portal. He knew he wanted to stay close to home for his girlfriend, so although he had top-level schools where he could potentially go in and win a starting job, he wanted to find somewhere in California where he could start immediately. And after checking around with a couple schools, he got news from one school that they would allow him to start. And it was really just as easy as that, because when it came to Jordan's college decision, he decided to sign with Cal. And as soon as he got to campus though, the coaches wanted to make sure that he deserved that starting spot. So Jordan went out there and was actually having the practice of a lifetime, showing the coaches and really everybody in the practice facility that there was no further reason to question who was the starting QB, as he would go on to win the battle and earn that number 1 spot. The only downside is that they did not have Jordan's number 1, so he had a choice between number 2 and number 0, and he went with number 0. It was all good though, because this was a new start for Jordan, and he was looking forward to starting in his first game, as California was set to face off against Oregon State. Jordan Baker started off his college career okay, as he got a couple completions on his first drive, but was eventually stopped on third down and forced to punt. Throughout the game, Jordan realizes that he might be able to use his legs to pick up first downs, and getting the ball out to his skill players might be the best way to get the team in scoring position, because they would eventually get the ball down at the goal line, where Jordan Baker would throw the ball on this play action, and he would get it into the end zone for a touchdown, the first passing touchdown of his career. Now, I'm sure it felt great scoring a touchdown, but I also am pretty sure it didn't feel great for Jordan to get sacked constantly. He would bounce right back though, as he would continuously make plays on third down, picking up a big first down here on 3rd and 20, and then delivering a dime here as he gets hit to pick up another first down. Once they got down to the goal line, Jordan had actually ran this play action and found a way to get it around the edge and get into the end zone for another touchdown on his day, extending their lead to 2 possessions. But Jordan was not done yet, as he would continue to extend plays and make some nice throws out of the pocket. eventually getting his team right back down near the goal line. Jordan was about to throw it in, but he decided to scramble out of the pocket and find his way around the edge before he dove into the end zone for another touchdown, giving him 3 in his first college game. But with Oregon State still trying to fight back with a minute left, Jordan decides that maybe it's time for him to take a shot. So he drops back and throws a beautiful pass to a wide open receiver who brings it into the end zone for a touchdown, officially ending this game, as California would go on to win 31-10. While Jordan Baker won Player of the Game with 254 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. But after the game, Jordan had actually found out that his girlfriend is pregnant. And for most people, this might be a bad thing, but Jordan took this as a challenge. He knew he had to find a way to keep getting better and eventually one day make the league. That way, he'd be able to help support his baby financially. But this all starts now as Jordan Baker and the California Golden Bears were set to face off against Minnesota. Jordan came into this game looking to make some plays very early on, helping to lead his team all the way downfield until they got to the goal line, where he would eventually find a way to create some space and get this ball around the edge into the end zone for the first points of the game. Within the first few minutes of the game, Jordan Baker had already set the tone. He was out there finding ways to use his legs to continuously keep the chains moving. And even though he very clearly has a wide open touchdown, Jordan decides to take this ball around the edge himself anyway, as he gets it into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. Unfortunately, Jordan's scrambling would get him in trouble sometimes, as at one point he gets dropped in the backfield for a safety. But there was other times where his mobility was crucial towards extending drives. And after he finds a way to get his team in the end zone for another touchdown late in the fourth quarter, that would pretty much wrap this game up, as California would go on to win 24-2. But although California had started off 2-0, Jordan wasn't sitting there getting complacent, because all he could do was think about the future of his family, the future of his girlfriend and his kid, and he knew he had to keep balling out in order to give them a better life. So he went into his next game against San Diego State, locked in and ready to go. Spencer remembered that San Diego State was one of the main schools that he wanted to go to, but after he entered the transfer portal, they didn't even want him to start. So Jordan went into this game looking to show them that there was no reason why they shouldn't have signed him, because Jordan Baker would eventually drop back to pass and throw a dime down the left side of the field that was caught and went into the end zone for a touchdown, the first points of the game. But as much as Jordan wanted to prove that San Diego State should have signed him, he also started to show why they didn't, as he would go out there and fumble, giving the ball away to San Diego State. And then he would come right back out there in the second quarter, throwing an interception, giving the ball away to San Diego State. There was one difference between the two teams though, and it's that California's quarterback was willing to take some shots, as Jordan Baker would go on to throw another touchdown pass, bringing this game to a 14-0 lead right before half. And with San Diego State's offense continuously failing to score points, while California's offense was constantly getting into the end zone, eventually this game would begin to get out of hand, and Jordan Baker would eventually put this game away himself as he scrambles his way into the end zone for another touchdown to effectively end this game. California would go on to win 31-7, while Jordan Baker led the way with 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 90% completion percentage. Jordan was feeling like he was on top of the world until he eventually got this text from his girlfriend saying she needs to meet up with him immediately about something. And it turns out there was some news she had to tell him about the baby.
Whoa, I'm not just doing this for you, okay? I'm doing this for us, for our baby.
That's the thing, Jordan. It's not yours.
But Jordan was absolutely distraught about this baby not being his. But he figured the only thing he could do was just continue to work hard towards his own goals. Luckily, he had his friend Spencer and all of his family to be there for him during this hard time. But if anything, this really just fueled a fire in Jordan, because he knows that girl is missing out. And she might want him back after she sees how well he plays in his next game against UNLV. Jordan had actually started out this game pretty slow as he throws an interception on his first drive that was taken back deep past the opposite side of the field, but luckily wasn't for a pick six. But Jordan would bounce right back as he would lead his team into the end zone to tie the game up. By the second quarter, he would get comfortable enough to take a shot that would allow California to go up by 7. And he continued his dominance throughout the quarter as he would find a wide open Mikey Williams once again, who ended up catching the ball and going into the end zone for another touchdown before half. And although UNLV's offense was struggling throughout the majority of this game, California's offense was not, as Jordan Baker would eventually throw another touchdown on the run, making this a 24-point game late in the fourth quarter, and allowing California to win this game 31-7. With Jordan completely locked in with football, he couldn't really think about anything other than playing in his next game against Virginia, where immediately he was out there throwing dimes to get his team downfield, and the whole stadium celebrated him already having 1,000 passing yards. He continued to move his team downfield until he eventually was able to find a guy open in the end zone to take an early 7-0 lead, but also set the tone for the rest of the game. Even still in the first quarter, Jordan was throwing lasers to get his team in the end zone and put 7 more points on the board. He was finding people open left and right, but this pass right here up the seam had to have been the highlight of his day as he gets in for another touchdown on the day. Jordan Baker was playing such a great game that after going out there and throwing yet another touchdown on the day, he had to make sure that he wasn't dreaming because even he was impressing himself. But it was no dream. Jordan was just that good. He got his team into the end zone for another touchdown before effectively ending this game, as California would go on to win 35-21, with Jordan Baker leading the way with 389 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. And with Jordan back to feeling like himself again, that meant that he was back in that lover boy mode. And it turns out that his friends Spencer and Asher caught him being freaky.
Okay, I'm on the bed now. What do you want me to do?
Take off your shirt.
You first.
Come on.
Come on, Boom Boom. Take it off.
Oh, yeah, boom, boom. Take it out of here.
Now, although that was kind of embarrassing for Jordan, he just continued to work hard and get better, because he wanted to come out in his next game and embarrass North Carolina. To start this game off, this California running game was actually the catalyst towards it being able to get its way downfield, eventually getting themselves down towards the goal line, where Jordan Baker scrambles out of the pocket and finds a man in the end zone for a touchdown for the first points of the game. Playing offense wouldn't be that easy though, as Jordan would go out there and throw an interception where North Carolina is set up with great field position. The good thing is that Jordan Baker has a really short memory and goes out there and throws one of the dimiest dimes I've ever seen in my entire life. And the receiver takes it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown to tie the game back up. And Jordan is starting to realize something about this receiver on the outside, as he continuously beats his man and always finds himself open as he is now streaking into the end zone for another touchdown on the day. Later in the fourth quarter, California looks like they're about to go take the lead, but Jordan throws another interception on the day. But on top of that, North Carolina went out there and scored another touchdown to extend this game to 2 possessions. So on this play, Jordan knew he had to go out there and find a way to make something happen downfield. And the best way to do that is by getting the ball to a wide open receiver who was once again getting himself into the end zone for a touchdown late in the fourth quarter. And with California's defense holding strong, this meant that Jordan Baker had an opportunity to go out there and potentially win this game. So on this play where he says snap, he drops back and launches this ball downfield. And it would end up falling into the hands of the wide open receiver, Mikey Williams, who is once again taking his team into the end zone for a touchdown with under a minute left. And with North Carolina unable to score with the given time left, that meant that California would go on to win this game 35-31. And rightfully so, Mikey Williams would win player of the game for his 300 yards and 5 touchdown performance, because all of Jordan's touchdowns went to Mikey. Now after the game, Jordan's friend Spencer was upset because he wasn't anywhere near the Heisman race. And Spencer had kind of felt like Jordan was to blame because Jordan had actually sent out a tweet talking about how Travis Hunter should win the Heisman over Spencer James. And that did not go well with Spencer James.
I don't get why you are so upset at me. I don't control who's in the Heisman talk and who is not. Say what you gotta say.
You suck.
Now all Jordan could do was laugh it off, because he wasn't a part of UCLA anymore, and he had to focus on his own team. He was just looking forward to keeping things going as well as they have been all season, going into his next game against SMU. Now immediately out the gate, Jordan was making plays, rolling out left and finding a man wide open downfield as he picks up a first down. Then on the very next play, he comes out and throws an absolute dime to Mikey Williams before he goes into the end zone for a touchdown to take the early 7-0 lead. Jordan would continue his rampage on SMU as he would get not just 1, but 2 opportunities at a touchdown right before half, where Jordan would take advantage of it as he finds a man over the top up the seam, and the receiver brings it into the end zone for a touchdown with 13 seconds left in the half. By the fourth quarter, SMU was showing little signs of life. and Jordan was able to find a way to scramble into the end zone for another touchdown on the day to effectively end this game. California would go on to win 35-7, as Jordan would lead the way with 293 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, Jordan knew just because he was playing well, it didn't mean he could stop improving on his skills. But he would get a little distracted as he started talking to this girl Layla, and she would show a lot of interest in him after matching with him on Tinder. But after only talking to her for a couple days, Jordan knew that she might be the one. And literally just based off the first look, man, I mean, Jordan was out there falling in love, and it's just But anyway, Jordan has some business to handle, because California was about to face off against their toughest opponent yet, as they were set to match up against the number 2 ranked team in the country, Boston College. Now, to start this game off, I'm not sure if Jordan was too busy thinking about his new girlfriend Layla, but he was out there dicking around. Fumbled the ball on the opening possession, giving up a turnover, and then coming right back out on his second possession and throwing an interception, giving up another turnover. On top of that, they couldn't get anything going on offense. It wasn't until Jordan went out there and threw another incompletion on third down that allowed them to go ahead and kick a field goal to score 3. And then on this play right before half, Jordan was able to escape a sack and allow his team to still be able to put up 3 more points. After halftime, Jordan and this offense started to get things clicking way more, as they were eventually able to get themselves into the red zone, where Jordan found this guy down the left side of the field who caught it in the end zone for a touchdown to take the second half lead. This Boston College defense was doing a great job preventing touchdowns throughout the majority of this game. But when the fourth quarter came and Boston College still wasn't putting up points, Jordan knew all he had to do was just get some more first downs to put this game away. Instead, he actually drops back and throws a pick, giving Boston College some life. And they used that life to not only go ahead and score a touchdown, but come out and actually get a stop on defense. On top of that, they went right back down the field and scored another touchdown with under 30 seconds left to take the lead. And with around 10 seconds left, Jordan knows his best opportunity is to take a shot downfield, but it's picked. And that would ultimately seal this game, as California would go on to lose this game 16-20. Now, Jordan would obviously not have his best game, as he would throw 4 interceptions. And this performance really started to bother him, and he was losing a lot of his confidence. But Jordan had remembered some of the times he had with his father, and thought about what his dad might say in a time like this.
Do you think if Butler was my son, he'd be starting QB? You need to have a little bit more faith in yourself, son.
And Jordan realized his dad was always right. He had to have more faith in himself, and he was going into his next game looking to show everybody why they should have faith in him too, as California was set to face off against Virginia Tech. To start this game, Jordan got back to immediately taking shots downfield. And it worked, as he was able to connect with his receiver for a long touchdown on the opening possession of the game. And it almost looked like deja vu, because on the very next snap that Jordan Baker takes, he throws it up once again to that left side of the field, where another receiver hauls it in and takes it all the way to the end zone for another touchdown, making this a 14-0 game early. But one thing that Jordan had struggled with all season is throwing interceptions, as he throws a turnover right here after Virginia Tech was able to come back and tie the game up. Now all of a sudden down by 7 points in this game, Jordan knows that he has to make some plays downfield. So he gives this guy a chance, and he takes advantage of it as he brings it down to the 1-yard line, allowing Jordan to just throw it across the middle for the easy touchdown to tie the game back up. But now once again down by 7, Jordan knows that he has to continue to let it fly. And he definitely does, as he finds a wide open receiver down the field who is taking this ball into the end zone for another touchdown. This game was starting to look like a complete and total shootout, as everybody was out there making plays. Jordan eventually brought his team into the end zone in the fourth quarter to take the lead with a little over 3 minutes left. And after Virginia Tech failed to score, all it took was this play action pass by Jordan Baker, where he delivers this dime to the back of the end zone, going in for a touchdown to officially put this game away, as California would go on to win 42-31, with Jordan Baker having the game of his life with over 400 yards passing and 6 total touchdowns. And Jordan knew he had to keep having games like this if he wanted to close out the season strong. California was now a top 10 ranked team in the country. And in this game against Louisville, you can see why. Because Jordan Baker came out on the field and was throwing dimes to his receiver all over the field. This first one going in for a touchdown on the very first possession of the game. Of course, from time to time, Jordan would struggle as he would throw another interception, and at this point, he threw quite a few throughout the season. But at this point in the season, he was consistently throwing multiple touchdowns per game, including this one in the second quarter where Jordan lobbed it over the entire defense, and the receiver brought it in to make it a 14-point lead. And then right before half, Jordan takes another shot deep, where he finds Mikey Williams open once again, and he brings it into the end zone for a touchdown to make it a 21-point game. But after California comes out and gets another touchdown late in the fourth quarter, that would pretty much put this game out of reach, as Jordan Baker would lead them to a 35-21 victory, largely due to his 361 yards and 5 touchdowns. But you see, Jordan was now about to deal with some more issues, because he found out his friend JJ was talking about how his new girlfriend Layla been with the whole football team, so Jordan had to take care of that.
First, it was Asher, and then Spence, now you. By simple math, that means I'm next in line, huh?
Now, it was all good though, because Jordan realized he doesn't need no girlfriend. He's going to be all about football from here on out, and he's ready to close out the season strong over his next few games. This next one against Stanford. To start this game off, Jordan was able to make some big plays in the pocket while getting hit by multiple defenders, delivering perfect passes all the way down the field until eventually he finished the job in the end zone with a touchdown to take the lead. Although Jordan was a very mobile quarterback, he oftentimes thought of himself as the light-skinned Michael Vick, and that would often get him into trouble, just like you see here as he fumbles and it's recovered by Stanford for a turnover. On top of that, he was very prone to making mistakes as he would go on to throw not just one or two, I'm joking, just two, but 2 interceptions before the end of the first half. Now, luckily, none of those went for a pick six, but he did also end up getting sacked, stripped for a fumble, and it got picked up the other way for a scoop and score. Now, as bad as Jordan had been playing throughout the first half, they were only down by 10. So he felt comfortable taking this shot deep down the left side of the field that was hauled in by a receiver who took it the distance to cut the lead down to 1 possession. And right as Jordan's ready to go out there and take the lead, he ends up throwing a pick, his 3rd of the game. But as the fourth quarter was coming to the close, that California defense held him to a stop, giving Jordan Baker another opportunity to get down the field and get his team in scoring position. But backed up on their own one with 30 seconds left, it didn't look like there was going to be any way for California to pull this one out. So Jordan decides to take a shot deep to see what happens, and it was caught! The receiver takes his ball and he is streaking down the sideline all the way to the end zone with less than 30 seconds left. And it was not enough time for Stanford to get any points, as California would go on to win this game 21-20. At this point, Jordan was back with full confidence. California was on a winning streak, and Jordan was part of the main reason. Jordan felt like he could always thank his dad though, because he was always there with him in spirit. Jordan continued to close out the season strong, as his final game was against Duke. He already had 2 touchdowns before the end of the first half. By the time they got around to the third quarter, Jordan was just pouring it on, throwing a bomb down the left side of the field that went into the arms of Mikey Williams, who took it into the end zone to open the floodgates. As soon as the fourth quarter hit, Jordan would start taking as many shots as he could to Mikey Williams. And on multiple occasions, he came down with the grab before going into the end zone for a touchdown, this last one later in the fourth quarter to put the game away and solidify an 11-1 record to close out the season, as they would go on to win this game 35-27, with Jordan Baker passing for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Jordan hadn't seen his friend Spencer in a while, so they decided to go over to Boston to catch a Boston College game. They were just driving around having a good time, but then Jordan would run into some problems.
What the hell?
Oh, my mom.
Dude, you do what I tell you to do. I don't give a damn who your mom is.
Officer, sir? Officer. Get out of the car. Show you.
Nah, see, Jordan had found out that the Boston College head coaches had sent the Boston Police Department out for Jordan because they knew he was around. And they asked him to rough Jordan up as much as they can because Jordan was about to face off against Boston College in the ACC Championship Game. You see, Jordan in this game wasn't messing around though. He was real upset that Boston College tried to do that to him. But it was all good though because he was about to do this to him, getting his team in the end zone for a touchdown to get an early 7-0 lead. Jordan Baker on this night was really beginning to make a name for himself, because although he was playing against the number 5th ranked team in the country, he was treating them like any old random FCS school, getting in for another touchdown before they got to the second half, now going up by 14. He would also get his team downfield right in scoring range before the 2-minute warning, but the drive would ultimately stall out, resulting in a field goal. And although Jordan was having a great game, he did struggle at times as he threw another interception on his season halfway through the third quarter. But once he got the ball back, he was determined to put this game away. So he decides to take another shot deep to his receiver, and who else but Mikey Williams catching this pass before taking it the distance to the end zone to extend this lead to a now 3-possession game going into the fourth quarter. And as the game was coming to a close, BC was just way too out of reach. So after Jordan Baker hits this pass across the middle for a first down, that would help put an end to this game as California would go on to win 27-21. And when the season came to a close, Jordan didn't see his name on any Heisman, Player of the Year, or Best Quarterback list. Even his receiver Mikey Matthews, and definitely not Mikey Williams, was getting votes over Jordan. And that really upset Jordan because he had led his team to become the #1 team in the country. And he felt like he deserved to get a little more recognition, especially considering he's been playing with a bad offensive line, yet still found a way to win throughout the season. And at the moment, the only thing that matters right now to Jordan is what's in front of him. And what's in front of him as of right now is one of the best teams in the entire country, as California was set to play in their first ever college football playoff game against Ohio State. To start this game off, Jordan tries a read option but fumbles, and it ends up with a 12-yard loss. He doesn't see anybody open on third down, so he decides to tuck it and run, but he gets stopped well short of the first down, and California is forced to punt. California didn't really start getting anything going until later in the second quarter, where Jordan was able to get the ball out to the flat for a first down, and then on the very next play, he sees his wide receiver fly past this cornerback's zone, and Jordan delivers a pass where he makes it into the end zone for a touchdown to tie this game up at 7. Throughout the second quarter, Jordan Baker was absolutely cooking this Ohio State defense. He was doing whatever he could to extend plays and get the ball to his playmakers to pick up a first down. He had a good drive going towards the end of the first half, but ends up getting sacked right here on third down, and California is held to 3 points. But after halftime, this offense was really starting to pick it up. They were moving the ball past midfield, and Jordan finally decided to take a shot. And for one of the first times all game, they're able to take it into the end zone from deep, making a big play to take the lead in the second half. And once they got to the fourth quarter and Ohio State still wasn't putting up points, this was about to be an easy victory for California if they could just continue to pick up first downs. But they got to this 3rd and 7 where Jordan didn't really see anybody open. So he rolls out and tries to make a play but ends up failing to convert on third down, which gave Ohio State the opportunity to go down the field and score a touchdown, tying this game up late in the fourth quarter. And it was all good though because Jordan was going to do his best to get his team right back downfield. And he really believed that until this 3rd and 4 where the pass fell short of the first down, which meant that Ohio State had one more opportunity to go back down the field and score, but this time to win the game. As California would go on to lose this game 17-20 on a last-second field goal. And unfortunately, this would be the end of Jordan Baker's sophomore season. And as far as his performance, he actually played a pretty good game, so he was proud of what he did. Even more so after realizing that he actually led the country in passing yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions, but also was the leader in passer rating amongst all quarterbacks with at least 30 or more passing attempts. He just had to work on getting those interceptions down and maybe he'd be entered into the Heisman conversation. And considering he was already breaking records for the most passing touchdowns in his school's history, it seems like a plausible idea. But this is the story of Jordan Baker. And if you want to see more of Jordan, be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Also be sure to comment down below who else you guys want to see next. If you got to this point in the video, just know that I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I hope all of your college football and NFL teams win this weekend, other than the Cowboys because I want the #1 overall pick. But other than that, I'm going to catch you guys next time.